Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach Double honors, as always, to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. Another episode of News and Prophecy, linking the things that are happening worldwide. All right, to the Holy Scriptures to show you that the words of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai are faithful and true. And also to condemn this current world, all right, which is ruled by the biblical Edomites, as the Holy Scriptures state. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, the kingdom of heaven, all right, that the Bible speaks of, which is actually the throne of David, being established by Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is the next government, all right, that will be set up after the destruction of Babylon the Great in Armageddon, all right, which is World War III, all right, where the elites of this world will eventually flee into the bunkers and their plans will be overturned and destroyed, all right, seeing as though they hate instruction, all right, and we're living at the very end of Esau's world, and a big part of the end of his world will be division, all right, which we're getting ready to see division on an even more higher playing field. All right, you're going to see a lot of uprisings and uproars. You're going to see people mad as hell. All right, and that's why, here over the past year or so, one of my pastimes has been watching Esau Edom complain. Okay, because that's who's going to set it off. All right, these working class Edomites who see that their beloved America is being, stripped away from them. They're going to come after their guns, all right, as well as Jake. All right, you're going to see uproars from Jake, who's going to start to wake up to particular things, and we're getting ready to see a bloodbath, all right, as people are witnessing, everything being stripped from them. The whole dream that they thought existed, is being turned into a nightmare.
Fuck you, you lying motherfucker. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you some more. Fuck you, and fuck you. You are a dickhead, lying bastard. You.
$98 fucking dollars to fill up the tank today. $98 fucking dollars. $98 fucking dollars. I have to decide between buying gas or buying food. And guess who wins? Because I have to get to the job that I need to fucking buy anything at all. That doesn't pay me enough. And people want to donate $1,000 to fucking cats. 98 goddamn dollars at Costco to fill up my tank. $98. $5.50 a tank. $5.50 a gallon at Costco. $5.50 a gallon at Costco.
And it's being done systematically by the elites of this world, and they've placed this incompetent government in front of you just to make you even more angry and to get you to uproar. Okay, it's all a plan, as we always say, order out of chaos. You see, order out of chaos, and they've created a very chaotic environment. They've set up, this Democrat and Republican Party, to pretty much, get you to choose a false sense of freedom, the illusion of freedom. But any way it goes, if you're following these people, you're going down a path of destruction, a slaughterhouse, which ultimately the Holy Scriptures foretold all of this. Now, one of the interesting things that's taken place within Esau's mainstream media is that they're now with Fox News. You have Fox News versus CNN, which they're all controlled. All right. But what you see happening now is Fox News is being used to not only call out Biden, Harris, and the ridiculous, environment they've set up. Okay. But now they're calling out the NWO itself. All right, and I'm not going to play all of this video, but as you can see here, this is off of Fox News, Jesse Waters, Primetime. Okay. The danger of the New World Order, and America is suffering because of its wickedness, the shameful spewing. Okay. That shameful spewing is being brought upon you devils now. When you go to Habakkuk 2:12, it says, "Woe to him that buildeth the town with blood and established a city by iniquity." So the first thing we're going to ask is, how was America established? Okay, they're saying things are getting out of control, things are getting bad. Well, America is suffering the fate, okay, of how it was established. Okay, this is ultimately a prophecy taking place. And one of the prophecies would be that, okay, your kingdom will be divided. America is divided. Okay, the beast system is divided, which a kingdom that is divided cannot stand. Okay, only chaos can come from it. But the elite are supposed to rise as a phoenix out of the dust, all right, and set themselves up, to ultimately be the rulers of the new world. All right, well, they'll start over with a small amount of people. All right, the charagma will control and track each and every one of them, to where their carbon footprint in the planet Earth, all right, will be limited. And we're seeing a lot happening. We'll get to a few things, but it says, as you keep going, Habakkuk, I'm going to jump to verse 15. "Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, and that puttest thy bottle to him, that thou mayest makest him drunk also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness." And that's America's MO. Putting out propaganda, lies, witchcraft, and many more things, and then benefiting off of the stupidity and the ignorance of the people. Okay, because Americans are very, very stupid, as we'll show you. All right, and the reason they're so stupid is ultimately because in our people who are a part of this system are stupid as hell too. All right, they're drunk off of the wine. The bottle is what? Filled with wine. The wine has you what? Spiritually drunk. And your nakedness, meaning you thrown off of what? Your path. All right, you being ultimately fed a lie. Okay. And what happens is you started to behave naked. Nakedness means basically backwards behavior. Okay, and for you Israelites, nakedness is what? Walking in sin. And our people who follow after this system, who mocked the Most High and thought that everything Esau gave them was some form of enlightenment, including being black and all of the other crap that he's throwing out there, they're being found out to be fools. So woe to people who do things like this. They did it with the Native Americans, literally gave them, fire water and told them it was better, than the than the water, the regular water they were drinking. All right. And as they got them drunk, what did they do? They took over. As the Native American men went out and hunted, Esau would show up, rape, rob, and murder the children. This is how America was established. Then you have the free labor, 200 plus years of free labor. All right. And then these devils act like they got to where they got based on fair playing field. No. Okay. If you allow me 250 years to get ahead in a race. All right. And then you get to start at the 260th year. All right. I'm not ahead of you because I'm better than you. Okay, verse 16 says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory." So Esau is being filled with shame, all right, for his glorying. "Drink thou also." Now it's your turn to drink of the cup, which is why you have Edomites complaining left and right. Okay, "And let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." And what was your glory? America. All right, this beast system you've set up. Now, I want to play this because it's interesting that this is being said on mainstream news, showing you that they're calling for uproars. Okay, they're calling for uproars, and uproars are coming. Pretty soon, people are going to be running up on these governments, these officials, and so forth. But before I get into that, I'm going to play this.
Hundreds of gas Guzzling private jets took off this week as billionaires from all over the world jetted off to Davos, Switzerland for the ritzy and glamorous World Economic Forum, a week-long event for the ruling class to talk down to the rest of us. And it's not for everybody.
You see, now the regular everyday Edomite knows that their elites don't give a shit about them, as the elder Manatazakba did a video. Lucifer, which is the elites of this world, all it means is the enlightened ones, those who bear the light. And that's how they view themselves, as the ones who carry the light, carry the torch, the gods of this world, right? Which they're getting ready to be disappointed. But the common, all right, Egyptian, okay, is mad at the Pharaoh, so to speak. Well, they're all Edomites, all right, but you can see a division. But now even on Fox News, they're calling out the elite. It's interesting.
It's an invite-only event, and once you do get in, they divide you by class. You get a white badge with a blue line if you're rich enough. You just get a white badge if you're married to someone important. Or if you're just a part of someone's entourage, you get an ugly green badge. You're not good enough. They keep the elites together, and they have their own little police state to make sure these people are focused on ruling the world. If you're not from CNN or the New York Times and you show up uninvited, they'll probably arrest you. And it's all headed up by a guy named Klaus Schwab, who's pretty much running a one-world government here.
Do you hear this? This is on Fox News. So these talking points are going to eventually hit the streets as people are now figuring out what's going on, but this is being done systematically. Okay?
He kicked off the week by saying the future is theirs, not yours.
The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as...
And when he's saying the future is built by us, is he talking to you niggas? No. He's speaking to the elite leaders who are all hand in hand investing in this new world order, which they're going to turn on each other. It's not going to work. All right. Remember, Nimrod tried this. A bunch of heathen nations have tried to establish a one world government. And the Heavenly Father never intended for it to be one world, all nations to be as one. He never intended for that. Anyone who you hear rolling around talking about God wants us all to be, he never wanted that. If he did, he would have allowed the Tower of Babel to be complete. He would have just made one nation. No, he made separate nations. And of the 18 nations that come out of Noah through Shem, Ham, and Japheth, there's only one chosen nation, and that's the Israelites. All right. Now, throughout history, he's given you heathen your rulerships. In specific, world rulership will be given unto Esau first and then Jacob. We're living at the end of Esau's world as their blessing is running out. So they're running like chickens with their heads cut off, meeting and doing all of this and that so they can hurry up and establish it because they see the awakening. And again, you can clearly see the 666. All right. This is the man of sin. But let's just keep listening.
You here in this room, we have the means to improve the states of the world.
We in this room, we have the means, the wealth, the technology, the power, all right, to be the leaders of the new world. Okay? And why do you think the YouTube CEO was there? All right, because in order for them to hurry up and establish what they got to establish, all right, they need to cut out particular talking points and oppositions. All right.
And the way they start is by tracking you. If you go deep in the weeds in what these people are saying at this place, they're openly scheming up some of the craziest plans you'll ever hear of, like tracking your carbon footprint.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned.
You heard it. The one world government wants to keep tabs on what you eat and where you go. All because John Kerry's a little mad that your cheeseburger is wiping out part of the population.
People forget greenhouse gases are pollution. And 15 million people a year die because of the quality of the air around the world. We're dealing with a crisis here, folks. It's a crisis made by human beings.
Maybe they should take their own advice before jetting off across the world on those private jets, emitting all that carbon. But to them, they have more important things to focus on, like preventing the next pandemic. Since
now I'm going to chill there. Look this video up. It's on Brighton. And you just type in the dangers of NWO, all right? Because particular talking points in here may get the video cut. So I'm going to chill. But it's interesting that, you know, on the news, on mainstream news, this is being talked about, right? They're openly letting you know that the elite are trying to set up a NWO, and that's a part of the division, all right? But don't think for 1 second that the elite don't control these news outlets. Now, while they're pushing to the people, okay, that the elite are responsible for trying to set up an NWO, they want to track everything, which how do you think they're going to track everything? If they have this plan to track everything and to track your carbon footprint, what do you think will be used to do that? All right, well, John the Revelator saw it and warned us of it in the book of Revelation. But anyway, meanwhile, Biden's approval rating is plummeting. Okay, people are fed up. People are what? Becoming more and more impatient. You're seeing more uproars. You're seeing more Edomite patriots pissed off. Now they're talking about we're coming after the guns. This is going to lead to uprisings. All right. But the American government, via this fiasco put in front of you in the form of this Biden administration, is losing trust. People are growing impatient. The gas prices are getting higher. The food prices are getting higher. Food shortages. All of these things are right before our eyes. The stores in particular parts of the world are doing what? They're locking up, all right, particular products because people are stealing. So we're living in what? Chaos. So out of the chaos, they're going to try to establish an order, but there's going to be more chaos as the scriptures prescribe, all right, pretty soon. Okay. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. You think these people are going to give up their guns? No. For there shall be sedition among men, in invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their action shall stand in their power. So they're not going to regard their kings nor princes. Okay, and you're already seeing people just taking actions into their own hands, okay, and just stealing because things are getting hard. Okay, and it's getting ready to be out of control. Meanwhile, your elite are meeting, all right, with all of this money, just quadrillions and trillions on all kind of money. They can easily, all right, fix these situations, but they're just sitting back meeting on how they can get more control.
Within a month to diagnose their entire population. We're a little distracted right now, so getting the debate going is happening slowly.
yeah, a lot of people are distracted by inflation, food shortages, real problems. But the ruling class at Davos says, don't worry, it's all a part of the plan.
We need to accept that there will be some pain in the process. The pace that we need will open up for missteps.
They're laughing at your problems. They're telling you it's going to be pains amongst the process. The process for what? The process of an NWO. See?
it will open up for shortages on energy. It will create inflationary pressures, and maybe we need to start talking about that pain is actually worth it.
If you have all the money in the world, the last thing you have to worry about is inflation. It's our problem, not theirs. They're busy ruling the world. And shady George Soros says if we don't make their ideas a reality, civilization is done for.
Fighting pandemics
And this nigga looked like he got out of the casket to do this speech, and after he finished the speech, he went and got back in the casket.
climate change, avoiding nuclear war, maintaining global institutions have had to take a backseat to that struggle. That's why I say our civilization may not survive.
Believe it when I tell you, these people don't care about any of us. They're just a bunch of globalists hanging out and coming up with too many bad ideas. Rand Paul.
Let's get James, the 5th chapter. Okay. James, the 5th chapter, it says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten." Okay? Now, Jake, the leadership of Jake was doing this as well, but this is now, all of these curses are now, on you Edomites. "Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as if it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days." All right? "Ye have reaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud." They pay you every 2 weeks. They pay you every month. So what? They can collect more taxes. According to the law, you're supposed to pay a man the day he works. But the ones who have ultimately built your society in the working class as well, which is ultimately the Israelites, okay? But now even the heathen that are of the working class are crying, but only the cries of the elect are going to reach to the ears of the Lord. "Behold, the hire and the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth." See? And during this whole fiasco from 2020 till now, the rich have got richer and the poor have gotten poorer, and there's pretty much getting ready to be no more middle class. Those who do have a little something are getting ready to be wiped out by these next shutdowns. "And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, the Lord of armies. You have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton. All right. Ye nourish your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you." Okay. We're just now living in a time where Esau is being resisted, where our people are starting to wake up. Okay. Now, when you get the book of Job, it tells you, okay, in the fullness of his sufficiency, Job 20 and 22, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." Now, when you look up this word wicked, all right, Imal, okay, Imal is what? The laborer, the working class, the sufferer, the wretched one, the laborer, the workman. All right. Now, it starts with the elect at the end of the day through this word, but you're going to have particular working class, regular, everyday Edomites who believed in the American dream that see where this is going. They're going to lose their damn minds. And it's going to be an uproar that's going to put a dent in the plans of the elite. Okay. The workman, the one who's labored to ultimately and bought into this whole idea of the American dream. Okay, they're going to come up against this government because they can clearly see, okay, and they're being led ultimately by particular politicians and news stations, all right, to be angry. See, people are waking up, all right, as you can see here. Another food processing plant erupts in flames. See, your average everyday American is now like, wait a minute. Okay, here it is. Another food processing plant has erupted. The 97th since 2021. The 97th food plant processing center has erupted. A lot of them, airplanes are dropping on them. A lot of them are bombing. But here it is. They're tracking everybody and everything. There's cameras everywhere, but for some reason, they're never able to find out who's causing these fires.
This is Dabu 7. With everything that we've got going on across the country and around the world, we should pay attention to what's happening to these food processing facilities. We are near 100 facilities that have gone up in flames, torched, destroyed within the past year or so. This time, this plant coming out of Wisconsin, this is a place that had 70 firefighters from multiple different departments battling this massive fire. This is Festive Foods in the eastern Portage County area. American Red Cross was on the scene also to help give out food and water to people battling this, but this is a big time situation that we have here in this country. And as we scroll down here and we take a look, there is a list that dates back to the very first fire they were tracking on 1/11/21. Guys, this is almost at 100. This would be the 98th, well actually the 97th right there on the list as of 6/13.
So why are all of these food processing centers just being shut down? Why are they always talking about mystery meat and beyond meat, and we need to take a different approach to protein and eating bugs, and all of this stuff is just being talked about? They're hoarding all of the resources to themselves. Farming is being shut down. Okay? Cattle, thousands of cattle just dying. Thousands of cattle reported dead. Okay? Because of the heat. These are all plagues from the Lord at the end of the day. Look at that. You see, it says some thought it was the heat. Well, let's rewind that back. Some thought the heat, but it wasn't overtly hot. You see? Look at all this cattle. A famine is being prepared, man. Bovine respiratory disease. Damn. And we brought out, Exodus 9:1. We brought this out before. Then Yahweh said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh and tell him, Thus saith Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. See? And if thou refuse to let them go, and will hold them still, behold, the hand of the Lord, all right, is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon thy horses, okay, upon the asses, and upon the camels, upon the oxen, upon the sheep, there shall be a very grievous murrain. Okay, damn cat just walked up to my window. All right, which is cattle disease. And the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is of the children of Israel. So the Lord covered Israel through the hard times that went on in Egypt. All right, although they were in straight situations, okay, the Lord covered them, man, and that's going to happen in this new Egypt. All right, for those who are of the faith. All right, Lord willing, we're of that number, man, but it's getting bad, man. And who knows what, could have happened, to these particular cattle, man. It could have put the jab in them. Okay, they could have poisoned the what they eat. Who knows? All right, but we know a controlled famine is being manufactured ultimately for the purpose of the Lord, man. Like the brother put, this is off of the beloved brother Ashiar's page, GMS upon Precepts 2, Ezekiel 5:16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you and break your staff of bread. And the Lord is cutting off, okay, the food, okay, as we see. All right, but he's using your elite to do it, and people are getting ready, and people are waking up. They can no longer hide their plans. They're coming out openly with their plans. Years ago, we wouldn't have insight to what was being said in these particular meetings, but the Heavenly Father has created the internet and wants particular things out there because it's going to lead to people losing their damn mind. Okay, and what does the scripture say about civil war? Mark 3:24. If a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. You read this in the NLT. A kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. America's going to collapse, and you elite think that you're going to somehow get full control through that collapse. No, the Heavenly Father is going to lift up a standard, and you're going to be stopped. Okay? And this is the reason why they put this incompetent government in front of you, to make it all worse, to make people lose it even more. Okay? I was checking this out. I've been telling y'all, this is one of my pastimes, watching Edomites complain about Biden, watching this all, unfold, man. Because even if these people are set up, there's people watching this who are being fed and who are going to actually go out and act. Okay?
And we won't. But if you're looking at the country and thinking, how do we measure the health of the United States? There are pretty obvious ways to do it. The average life expectancy is one, the marriage rate, the effectiveness of the U.S. military, housing costs, the value of the U.S. dollar, health of the financial markets, the safety of our streets, etc. By every single one of those very basic measures, the Biden administration has failed and done so dramatically. Biden isn't simply incompetent, though obviously he is. Biden is the single most destructive force in the history of the United States. In just a year and a half, Biden and Ron Klain, his strange, shadowy chief of staff, have done more damage to this country than anybody could possibly have imagined. We read the numbers every night, but they don't capture it. You know what captures it? This story. This story comes from the reliably liberal financial news outlet CNBC. Here's the second sentence of the piece. Quote, a rising number of former Californians are migrating out of the country altogether and are instead heading south of the border. Many are seeking a more relaxed and affordable lifestyle in Mexico. Yes, in Mexico, not Switzerland, Mexico. So things are so bad in Joe Biden's America that thousands of Americans are voluntarily moving to a third world country in the middle of a brutal drug war. Yes, there are human heads littering the side of the road in Acapulco, but at least it's not Los Angeles. Darryl Graham works in real estate in Mexico. He says of the people he sells to, quote, at least half are coming down from California. Suddenly the cost of taxes, the crime rates, the politics, all the things that people are unhappy with in California make them want to come down to Mexico. Another analyst who studies the trend at the Migration Policy Institute says, so many Americans are relocating to Mexico right now that locals are being priced out of their own neighborhoods. So it's mass migration in reverse. It's pretty amazing. No matter how bad you thought this administration was going to be, you probably could not have imagined ever caravans of Biden refugees fleeing our country across the southern border looking for a better life in Mexico. At this rate, the next stop will be Port-au-Prince. Say what you will about Haiti, it's better than Baltimore. Now, one upside of moving to Latin America is like-minded neighbors. Hispanics despise Joe Biden too. Biden's approval rating among Hispanic voters in this country has fallen to 24%. That's his lowest among any
And that's how you know this is bad, when Issachar so-called Mexicans are pissed off at this guy? Yeah. But this all had to happen. This all had to happen. The Lord wanted that tacky-ass administration in there because ultimately they're forward in prophecy. Now Sodom and Egypt is here like never before, which Sodom and Gomorrah was an example of what was going to happen to a nation that did the same thing. So we're close to the destruction. And our people are waking up. And out of the so-called masses that wake up, maybe there's going to be a few out of those numbers that are going to hear the truth and wake up. This is an age of enlightenment through the Holy Spirit. All right. And the powers that be, the biblical Edomites, are on their way down, man. But this is trash. And we're going to get into Kamala. Where's Kamala?
Demographic group. Meanwhile, as of tonight, guess who's the preferred candidate for 2024 among self-described Latinos? That's right. The Taco Bowl guy, Donald J. Trump. Let that sink in for a second.
And we told you, idiots, we told you were going to be crying for this guy back. What did you tell us? Shut up. Now look. And he ain't getting back in. Okay, he ain't. Hopefully we won't even get that far, man. Before this administration may lead to the end of the Constitution and the administering of, all right, all kind of martial laws, medical, all anything. So we may not even get that far to this guy being able to run again. Hopefully. But didn't we tell you all you were going to be crying for this guy back? But everybody was in their feelings over some tweets. He's racist. He ate out of a taco bowl. He said Mexican. He hate Mexican. All of them hate us. They even hate the lower class of their own kind. They don't give a damn about nobody. But you stupid idiots fell into the same trap again. And if you happen to be watching this video and you were one who were out there crying and voting and you've repented, good. But your ass was being stupid. Okay, we all had to be called out for our ignorance in order to fully wake up. These people sold you a dream, man. And now if you're still trapped into that, you're going down this whole left-right fiasco, which ultimately both lead to your destruction and you not having any rights. Okay, because on this guy's back, you're having all of these militia groups being formed that they're going to blame on him. They're going to blame on him in inciting, okay, people to go out and storm the Capitol and things like that. And all kind of talking points are going to be linked to that so that they can cut out particular nationalist ideologies. All right. But anyway, we're going to get back to this, but I wanted to show you this, man. All right. Remember, we showed you that so-called white supremacist groups are rallying up thousands on social media. All right. But we know the CIA and the FBI set up people to go out and incite riots. All right. White nationalists and supremacists are building thriving macho communities across social media platforms like Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. So the left hand is at work. All right. And a lot of these things are led by actual agents. Okay. Agents who ultimately want to bring the chaos so that they can bring their order. And they're going to tie these ideologies and mindsets to the particular shootings that are happening so that they can say online speech, all right, is causing many to go out and do these things. The social media posts are of a distinct type. They hint darkly that the CIA or the FBI are behind mass shootings. You see that? They traffic in racist, sexist, and homophobic tropes. They revel in the prospect of a whiteboard summer. You see, so off of the back of this, they're going to make it seem like we're really going after Edomite supremacist groups, but we know that they're going to link this to what? Black identity extremist. We've been telling you the devil has a plan. Remember, Isaiah, this is Psalms 144:11. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is the right hand of falsehood. A lot of the junk being presented to you is falsehood. See? White nationalists and supremacists, all right, on accounts often run by young men, are building thriving macho communities across social media platforms like Instagram, Telegram, TikTok, or evading direction with coded hashtags. All right. So these memes and trendy videos are rallying up thousands of followers on divisive issues, including abortion, guns, immigration, and alphabet rights. See? Now, what's funny is, as they pull these 31 guys over, you know, U-Haul full of guys, they were getting ready to go to a pride parade, which we know all of these wordings can be linked to eventually what we're saying. One of the guys who was arrested was carrying a megaphone marked with FBI on it. Okay, you can see that here. And you know this guy is a cop or an informant. They set these dudes up. So now the cry can be, all of these people are attacking the pride parades. All of these people are looking at this content on the internet, and they're going out and shooting things up and doing this and doing that. So that they can do what? Shut out free speech. Falsehood is being worked. And they're being blatantly sloppy, okay, with their work now. One TPG reader says the megaphone reads, abolish the FBI. This is just as ridiculous as considering the group was infiltrated and the police admitted they had a source from the inside who tipped them off. Yeah, well, somebody who they set up to be a part of the group. See, there's going to be informants. You think these Hebrew Israelite camps ain't infiltrated? See, the thing with us, if you going to infiltrate, you're going to have to stand on the other side, maybe not even get into the camp, but even when you come around us, what are you going to have? Like, damn, they get together, they read the scriptures, they talk about the kingdom of heaven, they cook, they're brothers to one another. I mean, what are you going to say? You're going to have to make something up, and you're going to have to be diligent to really be around us like that. Okay? So whoever's an informant or a spy, you're going to lose. All right? But an informant that was within this group led the police to what these people were going to do. All right? It says, we do not know why this Patriot Front member was carrying his megaphone. Let's hope the megaphone is returned to the feds. When he's done, the FBI may need it for their next rally. And basically, this is Esau showing you we're behind this. And stuff like this is just going to be used as a means to come down harder with draconian measures. It's getting out of control. They were going to attack a pride event, and then they could show, you know, particular people who have ideologies that speak against the alphabet. Okay? Anyway, so all hell is breaking loose. And where's Kamala? Here it is. This nigga ain't been nowhere to be found, and she pops up at a D.C. pride parade where almost nude trans people twerked in front of children. This is your beloved vice president, who you all were acting as if she was the greatest thing going. Remember Black Girl Magic was so happy to have a so-called African-American woman in office as the first, and this nigga is nowhere to be found. But she pops up, which she's the first vice president to attend a pride parade, period. But now in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of food shortages, gas prices are high as hell, this nigga pops up here. Okay, marching. No one should be fighting alone. Again, you niggas lost, because you especially you black women, you were all for this nigga, and she's married to a Edomite. And your main thing with the successful so-called black man is that he always goes out and gets him an Edomite woman. But when these so-called black women do it, okay, it's overlooked. Which who gives a damn? I'm just saying. But again, let's go back to this video here too.
Income in this country is $44,000 a year. A year. Imagine trying to live on that right now. Do the math. You couldn't do it, not in any recognizably American way. Inflation is too high. It's making you poorer. Well, today in Philadelphia, Joe Biden unveiled his plan to fix inflation. Now watch this tape and keep in mind as you do that it is real. We've not edited it in any way. Here it is.
We can do all this. All I'm asking is for the largest corporations and the wealthiest Americans to begin to pay their fair share in taxes. I'm deadly earnest.
Oh, boy.
Anybody out there think the tax system is fair? Raise your hand.
This guy, the AFL-CIO. How many
And here you have it. All right, your Federal Reserve, which isn't even a part of your government, all right, has raised the interest rate, all right, 0.75%, the largest increase in 28 years. So, yeah, it's getting ready to be a collapse. And see, this only benefits the rich. If you already have money, you're good. But if you're struggling, all right, pretty much you're going to be paying more for things. Don't you see the squeeze? We ain't got to listen to this all, but...
Breaking news, the Federal Reserve moments away now from a major interest rate hike. The Board of Governors expected to raise rates 0.75%. It would be the highest rate hike in nearly 30 years. Now, inflation is at a 40-year high. That's sending the cost of, everything from gas to groceries skyrocketing now. Take a look at some of the numbers here. Eggs and bacon, now both $1 more than they were a year ago. And a gallon of regular unleaded gas now topping $5. Leading us off this hour, CNBC senior markets correspondent Dom Chu and senior White House correspondent Kayla Tausche. NBC's Jake Ward is with us as well. Dom, first to you, this interest rate hike we're expecting from the Fed, what's the immediate and the long-term impact on everyday Americans?
All right, so Aaron, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a done deal. The rate announcement just came out in the last 30, 60 seconds or so here. The Fed has, in fact, per market expectations, per broader expectations on Wall Street, raised the benchmark lending rate in America by 75 basis points, 0.75%, 0.75%, if you will. Largest rate hike since going all the way back to 1994. This is a big deal because it does show that the Fed is committed towards battling this inflationary pressure that you just mentioned, that's hitting everything from food to fuel to even discretionary items that we don't necessarily need to live but want to have as well in our daily lives. Now, as you talk about the shorter and long...
So you can look that up on your own, but yeah, and you read the comment, people are mad. 144 likes. So if you have more money, you will gain more money. If you're struggling and trying to survive, you are going to have to pay the same thing I just said. That's the spirit. 144 likes. Sounds about right. The rich get richer while the poor get poorer. This is sad and needs to stop. Quit giving all my hard money away and use it to help us. Why do we allow our money to be decided upon by a central bank who's not even a part of our government? Well, didn't your founding fathers warn you? People are mad, which is going to lead to uproars, which is going to lead to, people, losing things, not having enough money to survive, which is going to result in people losing their minds, invade one another. Check this out. And while all of this hell is being put on you Americans, Biden is going to send another $1 billion in military aid to Ukraine. See that? Yeah. Hey, good job, Joe. Joe's going to get us exactly where we need to go. Let's go back to this video.
Private sector labor union members support Joe Biden. 12%, 15%. It's not 50%. And yet they host the guy? They're so corrupt. But listen to the message. Higher taxes will make the things that you buy cheaper. That's what Biden just said. Inflation is up because taxes aren't high enough. Now, it's hardly a defense of corporate America, which we would never defend, to point out that that, as an economic analysis, is completely insane. It's not true. We've lost control of inflation because people like Joe Biden pushed a species of lunacy called modern monetary theory. They printed an endless torrent of fake money to enrich and empower themselves. And by doing that, they crashed the US dollar and made you much poorer. That's what happened. There's not much debate about that. Now, they're not going to acknowledge it, of course. They can't even be bothered to pretend to care about baby formula shortages. Here's Joe Biden's publicist just yesterday.
So I have two questions on baby formula. So first, what is the latest update the White House has received on the current infant formula situation across the country?
Yeah, let me see if I have anything new for you on that. I think it's been a couple of days since we have been asked that question.
Completely through.
Okay. I don't have anything new. I know we made some announcements last week. I just don't have them in front of me.
Oh, mothers can't feed their babies. Let me see what I have here. Ooh. Somehow the White House communications team forgot to load the baby formula talking points into the binder, leaving our historic LGBTQ plus immigrant class ceiling shattering press secretary speechless. I just don't have them in front of me. In other words, what does that question have to do with trans rights? Nothing? Okay, next. The one thing Karine Jean-Pierre can say with dead certainty is that Joe Biden is great. Joe Biden is energetic. He's fully in charge of his faculties. In fact, he's planning on running again in 2024, by which time all of suburban Chicago will have moved to Haiti in search of a higher standard of living. She actually said that, quote, "To be clear, as the president himself has said repeatedly, he plans to run in 2024. Now, we can just guess how you feel about that, but how do leaders of the Democratic Party feel about that? He's their guy, and yet they're horrified by it. Even Sandy Cortez, who can defend anything if she has to, up to and including another pointless neocon war in Ukraine, even she can't get behind another Joe Biden.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge. We'll take a look at it. So what they're really saying, and this is their latest talking point, is we don't like Joe Biden, and we never have. They've got nothing to do with Joe Biden. David Axelrod and Joe Scarborough and the other professional liars who foisted this senile mannequin on America are now trying to run away from him. The New York Times, which is their newsletter, ran a front page story 2 days ago on Sunday about Joe Biden's mental decline. Really? That topic was completely off limits just a year ago. You couldn't say it. The New York Times quoted one DNC official who's advising Biden to announce now, right after the midterms, that he's not running again. As David Axelrod, mastermind of the Obama victories, put it himself, quote, "The presidency is a monstrously taxing job, and the stark reality is the president would be closer to 90 than 80 at the end of a second term, and that would be a major issue." In other words, he's too freaking old. Biden's got dementia. Who knew? Well, actually, they all knew, and they all knew all along, and they should not be allowed at this late date to evade their culpability for knowing.
And I believe they put him there to anger people, to get people to lose it as they woke up to what's really going on.
Lying about it.
and also to show the nations, all right, Babylon's nakedness, man. This is the book of Nahum 3 and 5. I am against thee. Behold, I am against thee, said the Lord of hosts. This is speaking of ancient Nineveh, which was the capital of the Assyrian Empire. Okay, which the new Nineveh is Babylon. Okay, it says, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, shameful spewing, and make thee vow, and I will set thee as a gazing stock. You see? And when this place is destroyed, ain't nobody going to come to its aid. Okay? And we can clearly see destruction is needed. Let's listen to a little bit more.
They committed this crime. These people are cynical, they're ruthless, they're morally disfigured. And if you need more proof of that, consider how they're treating poor Kamala Harris. They've abandoned Kamala Harris completely. It's shocking, really, given that just 18 months ago, these same people were yelling at you about how lucky you were to have this historically Indian black female vice president, the very first in history. It was thrilling. They got emotional just thinking about it. Kamala Harris was that wonderful. Here's a recap.
Kamala Harris is being sworn in, the first woman vice president.
And our first woman vice president.
We'll see our first woman vice president. It will be a historic day.
Kamala Harris will be the first woman vice president of the United States.
We mark the swearing in of the first woman in American history elected to national office, Vice President Kamala Harris. Don't tell me things can't change.
Don't tell me things can't change. Oh, they can change, and they have. That was just the other day. We were getting goosebumps listening to it. But now they're ghosting Kamala Harris like a bad Tinder date. They're pretending she doesn't exist. In effect, in doing that, the Democratic Party is embracing white supremacy. How? Well, Democratic Party leaders plan to deny Harris a job that she has earned as Democratic nominee and replace her in the next cycle with yet another, wait for it now, white man. Let's try Beto. How about Mayor Pete? Notice a theme here? Pale and male, as they're forever telling us. Because it turns out, diversity isn't actually our strength. Equity and inclusion are fine if you're hiring middle managers at a big company. You would never hire a middle-aged white guy at Citibank. That's probably illegal. Fast racists. Hold on a second. Now, the rest of official Washington may be completely on board with this coup against Kamala Harris, who, again, earned the job. They may be willing to stand back and allow America's highest-ranking woman of color to be degraded and humiliated in the pages of the New York Times, but we're not. We believe Kamala Harris is a human being with hopes and dreams and aspirations. She's a first in so many ways. She celebrated Kwanzaa before it was even invented. And of course, now that Oprah is retired, Kamala Harris is America's main source of life-affirming aphorisms that don't actually mean anything. Watch this montage, which we have lovingly collected, and ask yourself how anyone could stand in the way of this woman becoming president of the United States.
You know, when we talk about our children, I know for this group, we all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community.
And so what we all experienced is on an electric school bus, on an electric bus, no exhaust, no diesel smell.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
This whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't think you guys. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
She, her, and her.
She would look down at me and Kamala, what do you want? What do you want? And I looked back up at her and I said, freedom!
You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes. Oh my goodness. With your own eyes, I'm telling you. We must together work together to see where we are headed, but also see it as a moment, yes, to together. It is the perspective of a woman who grew up a black child in America, who was also a prosecutor, who also has a mother who arrived here at the age of 19 from India,
Lord.
who also, you know, likes hip-hop. Like, what do you want to know?
What do you want to know? She's unbelievable. You would deny that person a chance to serve. That is the person the Democratic insiders are tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
And that is going to cause these everyday Edomites to lose their shit. These patriotic Edomites, not these stupid ass Americans, because these stupid ass Americans will play a little bit of this. This place got to be destroyed. This is from this guy's page. It says students are so proud of Kamala Harris for, well, they don't know. The majority of these people, as the scriptures describe this place as the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care. And Nineveh was destroyed at the time of Nahum, but at the time of Jonah, this is Jonah 4:11, it says, and should I not spare Nineveh, that great city wherein are more than 6,000,000 persons that cannot discern between their right hand and their left hand? That's these people. They're completely in darkness. They don't know what the hell is going on. All right, you read that in the NLT. But Nineveh has more than 120,000 people living in spiritual darkness. That's these people who still trust in this place. Check this out real quick, and we'll get a few more and close it out. And I'll do another news and prophecy later with the rest of the stuff I had. But check this out.
It's actually terrifying to think how little the voters that give these people power actually know. Absolutely terrifying.
Hi, I'm Ophelia Jacobson with Campus Reform. A recent poll came out that shows that 48% of Americans disapprove of the job that Kamala Harris is doing in office right now. We're here in Georgetown today to talk with students about Kamala Harris. Do they approve of the job she's doing? And if yes, can they name any specific accomplishments or policies that they're especially proud of? Let's find out. I want to get your thoughts on our Vice President, Kamala Harris. What do you think of her? Is she doing a good job in office?
Yeah, I think so. I really like her. I think it's very inspiring to see our first, woman vice president.
I do love having a woman, person of color, Democratic leader in that position, and I think she's a great representation.
I feel like definitely it's amazing to have a woman vice president, and we're making great headway with that, and she's a definite girl boss.
What's she doing?
I think she's doing great.
History on crime I disagree with, but she seems to be reforming that opinion at least to some degree.
I think that she's never really been dedicated to caring about the communities she's a part of. Promotes incarceration, promotes policing, is more dedicated to upholding a carceral state than taking it down.
So you think we should take down the prison system?
Oh boy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think she's doing a pretty solid job.
I really do agree with a lot of the policies she's been putting out, and I think she's a great vice president.
Can you
What
name
policies specifically do you agree with?
And this is where you get a dumb American. When they start talking about these presidents, and ask what policies do you agree with? What policies do you not like? The ones who mad at Trump. What are you mad at him for? What did he do that ultimately you didn't agree with? All they're gonna have is tweets, how he talked to women, this, that. These people don't know what the hell is going. This is why this place has to be destroyed. These people don't know how to discern between their right or their left hand, man. Okay, let's get this scripture. These people are through. Okay. Give me 1 second here. This is Jeremiah 49:31. Arise, get you up into the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, saith the Lord, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwelleth alone. And these troops are coming over here. Okay, the missiles are coming. Okay, and this is that wealthy nation that dwelled without care. And clearly, you can see the mindset of these people. They don't know what the hell is going on. Listen to what she asked her.
Of the policies she's been putting out, and I think she's a great vice president.
Can you
What
name
policies specifically do you agree with? Can you tell me some?
Maybe I
Maybe I don't know what her policies are.
Maybe you haven't thought this through.
Maybe you can just cut that part out. Can you name any specific accomplishments that you're super proud of?
Besides her being the first on so many different forums, that would be my first thing.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of many of them.
No, and that's exactly what I mean. That's probably shamefully my party partisanship showing through to some degree.
I can't relate, to be totally honest. What I really like is that she does kind of give the nation a positive face, being the first woman president.
No, honestly, I don't really keep up with politics. On social media, I've seen that she does great posts, so yeah.
I love how that one person said she was the first female president and doesn't even know what is what anymore. As long as social media and the news media tells them what to do and believe, they're going to go for it. They're going to go all in on it.
Can you name any specific accomplishments that she's had since she's taken office?
No, not any specific ones particularly, no.
So what do you like about her?
Just I think she's doing a good job.
You gotta love it how they can't come up with one single positive thing that Kamala Harris has accomplished in the almost 1.5 years that she's been in office. Yet in the very same breath, oh, she's doing a great job. Yeah, she's doing a great job at talking in circles, laughing hysterically at inappropriate times, and dodging important questions like the plague. I also think she's an insult to every woman who's ever worked diligently to get where they are without having to sleep their way to get to that point. But hey, ladies, what do y'all think?
What specifically do you like about her?
I think she has a...
How do you think she's handling the border?
I have no clue on that.
At least you're honest.
Not well. I think that we need complete reform at the border, and that's not happening from her, which is surprising.
From what I have heard, the conditions there at the border are not the best.
She needs to control the border, yeah.
I say let them cross the border. But that's
really? No!
Well, with that one, I would definitely
Not
say
our
that
border.
she should be monitoring that.
These people are absolutely lost. Okay? You can look that video up if you want to see more. All right? Meanwhile, you catching all of this hell, her ass is at the Pride Parade. All right? Wiggling around while the T people, okay, well, that's what we'll call it, the T people are twerking in front of children, putting dollars in their drawers on the side of their belts. Absolutely wicked. Okay, New York put over $200K, all right, for drag shows in New York public schools. So there's nothing else they could have used that money for, right? And they got all of this money to throw around for war and wickedness and weapons. And this ultimately is a result of a wicked rulership. Okay, as we always read in the book of Sirach, the 10th chapter, man. This is that disease that's going to be cut out. A profitable ruler is needed. This is too much. All right, and as the scriptures say, Proverbs 16:18, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. You see, so this place is getting ready to be destroyed. All right, and it's interesting. They label the month we're in, okay, the very first word of this scripture, and there's nothing but haughty, low-level, empty spirits walking around. See if we can get a precept here. When Proverbs 11:2, when pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom, and the lowly are here. The wisdom is here. And I was going to get Isaiah 19 to tie into everything, but I kind of went over. So what I'll do is, because I had a few other things I was going to touch on. But, yeah, people are fleeing to Mexico. People are getting the hell up out of here, man. You know, yeah, if I wasn't in this truth, I'd be out of here myself. But pretty much the world is getting ready to be under a squeeze. So you wouldn't be able to escape it anyway. But this is Babylon the Great is going out, you know, with a bang. So Lord will, we'll be right back with a few other points and articles, and hopefully I will edified. On to the next. Shalom.